to Charts and Hearts. I'm Sarah, and she's Lindsay.
And together we're working our way through an epic list of rom-coms in order to find and categorize tropes in the hopes of creating the nerdiest spreadsheet podcasts have ever seen.
And today's episode, we are continuing our celebration of Alan Rickman with Truly Madly Deeply. So, yeah, neither of us had seen this movie and didn't really know what we were getting into.
Nope.
Other than Alan Rickman, ghosts, maybe some romance, and and Juliet Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yep. It was an experience.
Yes. It was a movie that I watched.
Yep. Yeah, it came out in 1990, and we'll probably end up summarizing it because it feels like less well known than most of the movies that we do. So, yeah. Do you want to start with your overall thoughts of it, Lindsay?
I did not enjoy this movie.
Fair enough.
On many levels. Yeah.
I liked parts of it quite a lot. I still don't think I overall liked the movie, but there were parts, like aspects and moments that I really liked.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, like, quick summary is Juliet Stevenson plays Nina. She is, I don't know, it's hard to know how recent, like, because she's moved into a new flat since he died. But anyways, her partner, who's played by Alan Rickman, has died sort of in a sudden medical something. Like, he got sick and he died very suddenly. And she is subsumed with grief, living in a very rundown flat that has, like, rats and floorboards and plumbing problems and all kinds of shenanigans. And she, like, starts sort of feeling the presence of her dead lover, and, you know, in, like, helpful ways, like reminding her to lock up the door, or, you know, like, just, you know, she feels him around. And then all of a sudden he is, like, corporeally around. He's a ghost.
Yeah,
but he's there.
He's corporeal, which is the biggest thing.
He takes corporeal form, and then, like, she's obviously trying to keep that a secret, and she, like, you never really know if other people can see
it never comes up.
And, well, like, she, like, actively avoids it. Yeah, and so, like, before he's corporeal there, she's like, not really living her life, like, she's barely going to work and whatever. And then when he comes, like, she at first is so, like, you know, they're, like, back in that honeymoon phase, and she loses, like, multiple days of just, like, being with him again. But then after that, she, like, starts living her life more and, like, going out with colleagues and friends. Like, she's a translator at, like, I guess a translation service. So, like, she starts, like, going places with friends again and doing things a bit more. And at the same time, like, she's going home and seeing her dead boyfriend, and, like, he then, like, invites his ghosty friends to come to her place and watch videos and, like, sort of take over her apartment, and it's kind of creepy and weird. So she starts, like, going out more and seeing more people, and she has a very adorable meet cute with this, like, magician at a cafe, and then runs into him again and, like, meets him again, and they sort of start dating a little bit. And then the ghosts, like, become even more invasive in her flat. But the presence of ghosts does solve the rat problem. So that's great. But then, and then it kind of just ends with, like, he sees that she's really happy with the magician guy and then leaves. And, like, the rats come back, but also she's, like, got her life back. And that's
I think, like, they do have a semi-falling out, and she has, like,
they have a big sort of fight,
like a realization of her life, which is a little bit, like, I wasn't entirely pleased with it because she was lying to herself in a lot of it. She was like I was having a life, and then you came back, and I was like, no, you weren't. The first 45 minutes of this movie were just all the people in your life telling you how shitty you are.
Yeah.
And then he came back, and you didn't really solve any of your problems. You just got new ones because you had ghosts in your
Yeah. So she got ghost infestation instead of rat infestation.
Rat infestation. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, like, because she was trying to leave her house and, like, was also happier, even though she was happy because of this, like...
Because of this ghost, yeah.
The ghost, she started, like, living her life
having a
more.
life, yeah.
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 Yeah, so, yeah, for sure, she's, like... She's definitely in denial about what her life was like before he came back. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would have liked it, like, obviously, the parts where when Alan turns bad in, like, a patriarchally bad way...
Yeah.
That plus the fact that everything is solved in her life because she gets a new boyfriend.
Yeah.
It would have been better if we had, like, not both of those or something.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, it would have been better if some of what fixed it was, like, she has a really great friendship with this woman that she had, like, I think met through translating and, like, teaching her English. Yeah, like, if
she had, like, if it had been, she had helped this woman give birth, and that was very nice, and she had a good part of her epiphany at that point of, like, what this is what life is, and I need to have a life, and I want to have a life. And if it had just, like, not necessarily ended there, but it had been, if we had ended her epiphany turning around, becoming a real person again on that note, instead of, this is what I want, and now I'm going to go out and find another boyfriend, I think that would have been better.
Yeah,
like, I have nothing
true.
Against the new guy, but I was just like... She's fine now because she went with this guy and then she was at home for like half of a day and she didn't solve any of her problems. She cleaned her floor and then went out again. And it was just, it wasn't long enough for her to turn her life around, actually.
No, for sure. It does, like, wrap up very neatly and also in a very, like, pushing aside one man for another man kind of way rather than, like, being her own self. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so that's sort of like a summary and, like, our opinions. So, like, there were big moments that I really enjoyed. Like, I thought Juliet Stevenson was, for the most part, super good. Like, her grief was very over the top, but I don't think in an acting way. It was, like, the character was just, like, so
over
stuck
the top
in her grief. And also, so, like, unable to do anything else. So, yeah, you get a lot of, like, really over the top, like, crying, and I think it still managed to be, for me anyways, like, pretty watchable because she's so good.
I don't know if, like, it was because of the way we watched it or if it was a weird thing or, like, an editorial choice, but the snot levels were intense. Like, it was louder than my snot levels when I am crying.
Oh, see, I didn't find that. Maybe it was just, like, a different
so maybe
audio setup or something.
There was also a part, like, with the new guy where he just starts yelling when they're doing, right before they do the hopping get to know you part. He just, like, is like, I have an idea, and, like, yells it out at her, and I was like, I don't understand, like, the actual editing levels of volume, which was probably my setup, seemed odd, but also, like, the
his exuberance at that was
a bit
intense.
So, like, those are the things of, like, her acting was incredibly good and, like, very well portrayed of this person stuck in her grief, but I was like, all I'm getting right now is 10 minutes of just snot noises.
That is unpleasant. Yeah, the other stuff I really liked was, like, when Alan Rickman, like, not when he very first comes back, but like once she's sort of gotten over the fact that he's back, and and some of it is also, like, flashbacks to their real life together. Like, so he's a cellist and she plays piano. Like, I think he's a professional cellist. I don't know if she's a professional musician, but she's a very good piano player. And they, like, do some duets, and then they do a really cute, like, singing and dancing scene, and they, like, look at clouds. Like, all of that stuff is so cute, and you really get this picture of their love and their relationship, and I really liked it. And also, like, Alan Rickman, I think it's a flashback, but he's got, like, a mustache and he's wearing a vest and he's, like, playing the cello, and it's very charming. Yeah. And then the other things that I really like was, she has the magician friend who kind of, like, appears out of nowhere. It's, like, this really cute meet cute, and then they sort of run into each other again, and they're, like, trying to exchange numbers while she's on the bus and he's trying to get off the bus, and it's, like, I don't know, it's just really cute.
Very
adorable.
And like,
aside from the yelling part of their date, like when they're actually doing this like hopping and like speed getting to know each other, like sort of like speed dating style, it's just really cute. I really liked it.
I'm on board with that stuff. It's just
but then there's so much like, so at the beginning, before the ghost comes, like before the ghosty stuff starts, there's all these like just men in her life that are sort of leering and like lurking around trying to be helpful. Like, I don't know, there's like there's a plumber, and there's this Polish guy that I think she knows through work, and like the pest control guy, and all these sort
and
of
her
men.
boss.
And her boss, and they all like are like concerned and helpful, but like in a like ready to swoop in to be the new boyfriend kind of thing. And I'm so glad that the guy she gets with is at least not one of them.
Yeah, me too. Because there's definitely like there's an entire part where she's out like hanging laundry, and there's just like 4 of them staring at her, talking about how sad she is and how run down she is, and just like,
but like she's still beautiful, blah blah blah.
Exactly. And I'm just and then the Polish guy gets mad because he shows up at her house at midnight with tickets to Paris, and she doesn't want to go. And I'm just like, okay, but maybe what if we didn't have this part in the movie? Like, what is this part? What is this for?
There's definitely, I don't know. There's nuggets of goodness, but there's so much weird. And I didn't like having to see the rats. It was bad.
No, I did not like the rats either. It was
so bad. So bad. And and then the ghost friends, when they came, I was like, ooh, this is going to be funny or silly or ridiculous. And then they were just obnoxious.
It was just more obnoxious men being obnoxious. And they made Alan, or Jamie, his character's name, obnoxious.
So, okay, I have thoughts on that, because it seems like he is like a really good guy, and then partially like as she's living her life separate from him because he's a ghost, and I think also like he's always cold all the time, and like as his ghostiness is kind of taking over, he's like losing his humanity and his like connection. So I think like the fact that he becomes terrible is like kind of the point. But you know, it's hard to watch Alan Rickman do that. But just wait.
I know. I know. It's like I feel like multiple levels of like, there's that part, there's the honeymoon phase is over in general, like you were saying, like they were together for a week, just the 2 of them, and everything was perfect. And then that's kind of went away, and then also like the whole metaphorical of like, is he actually even there, or is she actually just going out in the world and losing connection with him, or like losing her rose-colored glasses of their relationship that she's had in her grief, because she's slowly getting over it and remembering that it wasn't all perfect, because she's now being with other people. Like, who knows? Like, it could be any of those or all of them.
It sort of reminded me a little bit of like my vague recollections of like Harvey, where it's like it doesn't really matter
exactly
to the end result, like if he's there for real or if it's all in her head. Like it's kind of the same end result.
Harvey is a better analogy, because I think also because it's 1990, and so this was right before, but it also like I was definitely expecting it to be more ghost than anything else, and I think that's
kookiness.
I was expecting it to be Ghost, Kooky British Ghost.
Yes.
And it was not.
It was more just amazing acting and sad and gross apartments. Okay, do we have any other observations?
I don't think so. It was just a lot, especially at the beginning. My note was, is this what British rom-coms were before Richard Curtis came along?
No, I don't think so. Okay. I don't think this was supposed to be a rom or a com. It was just kind of trying to be,
it was just kind of like, is this a guy? I don't watch a lot of British romance movies before Richard Curtis started writing movies. But I was like, is this what this was beforehand?
Also, the cover, like I'm just looking on IMDb at like the main posters, like the 2 posters make it look way funnier than it is.
Yeah, and also the trailer that we watched. When we found out about this movie, it made it look funny and kooky. And like, oh, he's getting a bit jealous because she has a new boyfriend, and like made it seem like the new boyfriend came like in the middle of the movie. And all of that. So like, It was oddly marketed.
Yeah, it's not as kooky as you want it to be. But it's just not the movie that we were expecting. So, yeah, exactly. Live and learn. Okay, should we talk about some tropes? Because there's a few.
Mm-hmm. So, there's a bit of a voiceover at the beginning, which turns into her talking to her therapist, which good job for her having clever. A therapist. Yeah, and it went well, and it was a good way of, like setting us up.
Yeah, and, like, narrative structure, exposition kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, she's totally lost without her boyfriend, like, very codependent on a dead guy. And then also it's a little bit bad boyfriend, but, like, with such a twist that it's hard to even really put it in that trope. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we do have a giant baby, which we haven't had in a while, so that's nice. Hooray, giant babies!
Man, that baby was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a very fun meet cute, sort of like an extended coincidental meet, like multiple meet cutes before they actually go on a date. But yeah, it's very cute.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, as we said earlier, her problems are solved by a man.
Yep, everything's fixed because she got a boyfriend who's not dead.
Exactly.
Yeah. But despite that, does it pass the Bechdel test?
It does. She has her friend that they talk a lot about stuff. It was weird at the beginning when they were working through Spanish and they were having a conversation like this Spanish person was 4 years old and was like, what do you see? Yeah. Oh, do you see clouds? Do you see the trees? And I was like, I'm pretty sure this person, while learning words, understands Earth parts.
Yeah, I think it was more just like a vocabulary thing. I also thought it was interesting because it kind of showed a bit of like the passage of time through things, which was helpful. Both like the Spanish friend learning English better and also the Spanish friend getting pregnant and having a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
But she also has a sister who's there at the beginning for no reason.
Yeah.
Like she's there again at the beginning to showcase how her life is no good.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
Again, like, because we needed another scene of somebody else telling her.
Well, it was good to show that she has, like, despite her grief, it's not like she lost the only person in her life.
That part's true. Yeah, that's fair. It's just that was
helpful.
Yeah, it was because she's really good friends with her boss as well, and he was at her house talking to her. I don't know if they were both needed, aside from the part where her sister was like, "Give me your dead boyfriend's super expensive cello, and then for my child, and now I'm mad at you because you said no."
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely, like, to set up a future, like, way of showing that she's over him.
Yeah. So,
it was just a little heavy-handed.
And that was another part of weird yelling. Again.
For sure. Yeah, her reaction was very extreme, and then her sister's reaction was also extreme.
Yeah.
There was a lot of extreme emotions.
Yeah, I think that, so it might have been a volume thing for some of it, but I think it just was a lot. Because she also just shrieks at times.
Yeah.
Because
there's definitely
over-the-topness.
Yeah.
So maybe they couldn't equalize the volume because there was so much shrieking. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it was the 90s. We had less technology.
Indeed. Should we make a pie?
Yeah.
It's a pretty gross pie.
It is super gross.
Okay. Let's start with ghosty friends. I don't know. I wanted it to be like 50%, but not with the ghosty friends that ended up being there.
No, exactly. I wanted them to be fun ghosts.
Yeah, like 20%?
Yeah, 20 is good because they're not individual characters, so they're a plot point as a group, but otherwise, yeah.
Okay. Rats? Ugh. There's so many rats.
There's so many rats and they're everywhere.
30%?
30? We don't have enough. No, that's good. No, wait, I take it back. 30's good.
Yeah, 30's good. Okay, 30% rats, and that leaves us with a whopping 50% of snotty weeping.
Yep. Yeah, regardless of your volume issues, she does spend a lot of time crying.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is fine. Grief, like, this is a movie about grief, and so that's fine. If it was less snotty for me, then maybe I would have been better with it.
Who knows? Who knows? What do we think's next for them?
For the new guy, I guess?
Yeah, I guess the magician...
Alan Rickman's a ghost.
Yeah, Alan Rickman will go back to being a non-corporeal ghost and hopefully not be a ghost anymore. He'll just, like, have a nice, happy afterlife. I don't know.
I don't know.
Keep learning Spanish. Yeah, and then for Nina and Magician?
Yeah, I think they'll have a nice relationship. They're both very quirky. If she can... Like, she doesn't need to get her life together in order for her to have a successful relationship, but I think she, like, her as a person. I think she needs to get her life together in order to have all successful relationships with everybody.
Yeah. Yes, I would like her to have a flat that doesn't have rats and skeezy contractors loitering.
Yeah. Yes,
Much more than I want her to have a good boyfriend.
Yeah, I would like her to have some agency. And if her boyfriend helps her in that, then sure.
Yeah, if he can be like an idea board for her to like bounce off how to like deal with rats or whatever.
Or like somebody to be there. Not that you need a man to protect yourself, but to be a person to be like, don't come over here, it's midnight.
Yes, that too. Like, honestly, if it's the same of like, yes, I am totally in a relationship, so therefore you will stop flirting / being gross with me.
Like, it's gross, but sometimes it works.
Yeah, so if he's comfortable being that without like actually being that.
And then being like,
Yeah. And Lindsay, what's next for us?
Oh, so much better. 100% less snot and rats. Well, there might be some rats in this one because it tires time travel. Actually, we picked both time travel movies. We didn't even think about it.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. So anyway, as you know, Christmas is a-coming.
Yep.
And we will be starting our Christmas celebration with A Night Before Christmas, the best Netflix Christmas movie, in my opinion. Can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be
fun.
Amazing.
It'll be fun. Yeah. And if you want to join us on Patreon, you can be around for our Alan Rickman / Christmas crossover this month. It's going to be, obviously, Love Actually.
Yeah.
Where
he's evil, but less
season.
Evil? More evil?
Yes.
TBD. We'll discuss.
TBD. Yeah, he's less of a ghost.
Yes, that part's true.
100% fewer ghosts. Yeah. And it's going to be delightful and ridiculous.
Yes. And problematic. Don't worry. We'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah. It'll be all the things. We're very excited. But it's going to be a bit of a later than usual Patreon. It'll be like the last week of November, I think.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to watch that movie too soon.
No.
Not ready.
Gotta wait.
Gotta enjoy my fall.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, yeah, that brings us to the end of our episode. Don't forget that you can rate or review us wherever you get your podcasts. And you can always find us on social media. We're at Charts and Hearts Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and at Charts and Hearts on Twitter.
You can also head to our website at chartsandhearts.com, where you can submit your suggestions for rom-coms and tropes for us to add to the list. And you can check out our Patreon at Charts and Hearts Club on Patreon. We do have a playlist, which is super fun, of songs from movies. This one, spoiler alert, I'm probably going to add Savage Garden because that's the best part of this movie.
Oh, yeah, true. So good.
So you can join us over there and listen to a lot of really random songs plus Savage Garden.
Strange assortment.
Yes.
And you can always let us know your thoughts on this movie. And in the meantime, you're dead and you're still into party politics. Okay, bye.
Bye.